We've had some incredible racers so far in the first 5 days. With 3 days left, I'm sure we'll see more. Hey everyone, welcome to day number 6. In the first group we have a Ford, a Cadillac, a Corvette, and a Ferrari. Now I've made comments in a previous race how the Ford I didn't think should have been able to do well given it didn't seem to be all too aerodynamic. But that Ford definitely proved me wrong, so I wouldn't be surprised if this one does the same. And it looks like they will, because right now they're right behind the Ferrari, who's currently holding on to the lead. They come into this tighter turn, which gives them the edge over the Ford. They take full advantage of it, and they finish in first with a 13.4, which is definitely better than sometimes we've had. But you definitely want to try and finish under 13 seconds if you want to have a chance in the grand finals. Meanwhile, it looks like the Cadillac did not finish at all. They wound up... I don't think they were backwards there. I think they just got stuck. They just did not have the speed to get over that turn. And we have a non-finisher already. Definitely not a good way to start. We've seen other vehicles finish in first 3 times and then just not finish at all in one of the other races they had. So maybe the same can be done for the Cadillac, but they are quickly falling behind while the other racers are pulling away. The Ferrari is out in front, the Ford right behind him, and the Corvette right behind him. Yeah, the Ferrari is out in front, the Ford tried to catch him, but so much speed was lost, at least to the point where the Ferrari stayed in the lead and finished this time with a 13.24. They've definitely improved, which is something you definitely want to do if you finish with slower times. But the Cadillac just does not finish again. That's 2 in a row. If that happens, you pretty much guarantee the fact that you're not moving on. You need to finish in first both times at that point if you really want to have a decent shot. But it's not looking good for the Cadillac, and it's looking great for the Ferrari. Meanwhile, in this third race, they're staying relatively close together at the very start, but the Cadillac is still falling behind, even with that tight turn. They just lost so much speed going around that last edge. And the Ferrari, the Ford, they're fighting for first, but here comes the Corvette, and the Ferrari's pulling away. Going into this last turn, is he going to stay on the track? Yes, he will. And he finishes in first yet again, finishing with a 13.2. He is slowly improving. You still want to try and finish under 13 seconds at some point. Meanwhile, the Cadillac gets stuck in pretty much the same spot as he did in the last race. I've had instances before where I had thought that maybe a car driver was drunk or they got something else influencing how they think or drive. But this could very well be the case here, because they're not even getting to the latter half of the track. They're just so slow throughout the entire time. Maybe it's the way the car is designed, or maybe they've got some impairment caused by something that they should not have been taking. But they're way behind again. The Ferrari's way out in front, and they're trying to get the sweep. The Ford and the Corvette are trying to catch him. So far, they just cannot do it. And the Ferrari will coast along, get a first place finish, finishing with a 13.22. Still not under 13 seconds, but they are consistent, which is another good factor to have. And the Cadillac never finished. They managed to get to the bottom this time, but now not only have we had some racers that were undefeated, but now we have a racer who never finished even once. It'll be the Ford and the Ferrari moving on, though. Let's see in the second group who will join them. We have another Corvette, a BMW, a Pontiac, and a Mercedes. Now, I could very well be wrong, but that Corvette seems a little familiar. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we had that exact vehicle in the tournament before. And if that's the case, they're going to have to check to see if that's the same driver. I'm not sure what the technicalities are of a racer going more than once, especially if they didn't do so well the first time. But that will be looked into. In the meantime, though, the BMW does finish in first, but they finish with a 13.8. Finishing in the 13-second area can be good. However, you want to do it in the low 13 seconds And look at this. The Corvette was going back and forth a little bit. It seemed like they had enough speed to go up the hill, but not go back down the other side, keeping them from finishing. Yeah, look at that. If you see on the left edge of the screen, they were going back and forth a little bit, and the Corvette just didn't finish. But the BMW finished in first, so they're the one that is in contention now. Try and get a sweep. If they can stay consistent, that could very well happen. We've already had quite a few sweeps, actually. And we've had 2 racers so far that have not lost a race. The BMW is quickly getting a decent-sized lead. But here comes the Mercedes, trying to catch him. And he has the tighter turns right now. That could really help. But the BMW is holding on to the lead. And now he has the tighter turn, takes full advantage, gains a bigger lead, and now finishes with a 13.77. This could be good for them now, but maybe not so much later. If they can show signs of improvement, that'll give them a sigh of relief. And the Corvette doesn't finish again. I don't know what's going on with the Cadillac and the Corvette today. Maybe they're in cahoots with each other. But it's like once you don't finish once or twice, you're pretty much out of it already. But it looks like they just can't get over that last hill. So we have somebody who hasn't lost yet, and we have someone who hasn't even finished yet in this group, just like before. It's odd that this would happen even once, but the fact that it happens twice so far in the same day, no less, is absolutely incredible. The BMW is trying to get that sweep now, or at least guarantee a spot in the finals. And that lead is helping him do that, but the Mercedes is trying to close that gap again. That tighter turn does allow them to do it slightly, but the BMW has good control and keeps that lead. And they take the win once again, solidifying their spot. And they're finishing with a 13.76. Still not great. And the Corvette is still moving, but they didn't even get to the turn before the one they usually get stuck on. And look at that, another car didn't finish. In my recollection, I don't know if I've ever seen 2 vehicles not finish in the same race. We've seen all kinds of things happen that are either rare or have never happened, and we're not even done with the first 8 days of this tournament. We're only 6 days in at this point, and it's already shown that some crazy, wacky events. Well, look at this. The Mercedes is actually out in front with the BMW, but now the BMW has a tighter turn, gets that lead back, quickly grows it, and is trying to extend it as much as he can before he gets to that wide hill at the end. And he gets through with no problem, and he gets the sweep, finishing a little bit better this time with a 13.52. The Pontiac manages to finish this time, but somehow, in the same day, we have not one, but 2 racers that never finished. That is extremely rare. If we had a nickel for every time that happened today, we'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. 2 sweeps and 2 non-finishers. Let's see how this translates into the finals. With a Ferrari, a Ford, a Mercedes, and a BMW. 2 red cars, a white one, and a black one. Right now, the Ford is still proving me wrong, showing that despite the design, they can still do relatively well. That BMW is out in front, and we actually have 2 vehicles right now, that being the BMW and the Ferrari, that haven't lost yet, which means in this race right here, one of them is about to be dethroned and lose a chance at a total sweep. And it looks like the Ferrari will keep that alive, causing the BMW to lose that chance. And the Ferrari did finish with a 13.23. They're usually staying around 13.2, which is pretty good. But again, we've had some racers almost always finish under 13 seconds, so they still could use some improvement in their overall times. In race number 2, the Ferrari is trying to keep that lead, staying out in front of the rest of the group. And that turn did make them lose some speed, but they still have the first place spot. But here comes the BMW trying to catch him, and he's actually trying to pass him. Is he going to be able to? that turn is going to help. Yes, they will. The BMW is out in front trying to shut down the Ferrari. But now the Ferrari has a tighter turn. He's trying to get the win, and he does. The Ferrari's hopes of getting a total sweep are still alive, finishing with a 13.27. That was definitely close. I'm sure the BMW was not happy with the Ferrari for taking away his chances at a total sweep. But the Ferrari's chances are still alive. If he can finish in first one more time, he will automatically seal his spot in the grand finals alongside the previous 5. And then if he wins again after that, that is another total sweep, which will be the 3rd one this tournament so far. They are just barely in front of the BMW, but the BMW takes the lead there. The Ferrari has a tighter turn, and he takes the lead back. Here comes the BMW trying to catch him, and he can't. So the Ferrari has automatically moved on to the grand finals. At this point, he's just trying to get bragging rights and make himself the 3rd racer, actually. It's hard to even say that because it rarely ever happens, but the 3rd racer to have not lost a single race. Right now the Ford is actually got a slight lead, but that wide turn I'm sure is going to make a difference, and it does. The Ferrari is out in front. He is trying to get that total sweep right now. And the BMW is trying to catch back up to him. But the Ford is actually the one in second trying to fight him, and he's right on his tail. But that wide turn is going to make all the difference again, and it does. And the Ferrari is the 3rd racer to have not lost a single race yet. So in today's races, we've had another person who hasn't lost and 2 racers that never finished. Crazy events. But now we have 2 spots left to fill, and I'm sure they're going to be good. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.